you're thinking about purchasing a home on Payette Lake, you're definitely going to watch this video. I'm going to talk about 5 things that you need to know if you're purchasing a home on Payette Lake. If this is your first time tuning into the channel, I'm Teia Golden, and I help people buy and sell real estate in and around McCall. So back in the day, McCall started off as a vacationing town for the miners and the loggers. So some of the homes that are on the lake are pretty old. If you want to know if your home could be used year-round, that's something you should definitely check into, because some of the homes were just used in the summertime for vacationers as they came in and out of town. One of the ways to check that is we've had plumbers come out. We want to make sure that the plumbing lines are below the frost line so they're not going to freeze in the winter. That'll let us know that you don't for sure have to shut your water off and winterize the house. You also want to check the insulation and the windows and make sure that if you're going to heat that house up, that the house can hold the heat in, right? Otherwise you'll have power bills that are insane. So this is the #1 thing. We need to check the year of the house and make sure that it's equipped for year-round use. The second thing that you're going to want to know if you're purchasing a home on Payette Lake, if it has a dock, you want to make sure that the dock is permitted for the house. I sold a gentleman a home, and the seller said, the seller had inherited the property, and they said, back when I was a kid, there was a dock out there, and I'm pretty sure that the neighbor bought it, but you could probably put another one in. So before we closed on the property, we checked out, the information to see what we could actually do, because to have a dock out there would be great. So I called around and I was told, yeah, there used to be a dock out there, but it was never permitted. And the neighbor did buy it, but it was just because he didn't want to look at it anymore. So anyway, I passed the information on to my buyer. He did buy the property anyway, but we found out in the process that he couldn't put a dock out there and that the dock wasn't permitted. So just because there was a dock in the past doesn't mean that you can always put one there. And if there's a current dock there, you want to make sure that it is permitted and that it's permitted for that particular home. You want to make sure that it's not shared with somebody else. Or if it is shared, you want to look at that agreement and see what your responsibilities are going to be in maintaining the dock. So second important thing is, figuring out all the information on a dock. The third thing to consider if you're purchasing a home in McCall on Payette Lake are the high-low water lines. You can see that this is normally in the water, but because it's after Labor Day, they've let the lake out some. It's not near as shallow as Cascade Lake. You can watch that video here. We talk about things you should know if you buy on Cascade Lake, but they do still drop the lake some. So if you're buying a lakefront property, you might want to know where your high and low water lines are. So the fourth thing that you want to check if you're buying property on Payette Lake is you want to make sure that you own the land under the property. And I'm not talking about condo association or something like that, but they do have neighborhoods of homes that are on the lake, and you don't actually own the land that's under the home. The HOA owns it. There is what's called the Idaho Department of Lands. And if you see a property come up that's really cheap on the water, too good to be true, chances are you don't own the land under the property and the Idaho Department of Lands owns it. You would just be buying the structure and then leasing the land from Idaho every year. So if you're looking to buy a property on the lake, you definitely want to know if you own the land that's under the property. So the fifth thing that you're going to want to pay attention to if you're buying property on Payette Lake are the rental rules. The city of McCall does have some pretty strict rules when it comes to who can rent out their property. And these rules do continue to evolve and change as there's conflict between Idaho laws and what different cities are trying to create to control the new Airbnb craze. And so, as they go back and forth, the rental rules are constantly changing. Things that you currently want to consider are maybe rooms that have ingress egress, how many people they sleep, size of the window, your emergency evacuation plan, your fire safety, and those are just some of the things. So if you're purchasing a property on Payette Lake and you're looking to rent it out as an investment, you definitely want to pay attention to the rental rules and see what they currently are before you purchase a property. Hopefully this has given you more information about purchasing a home on Payette Lake. If you have any questions about a particular property or you're interested in looking, reach out and give me a call. I'm happy to answer the phone and answer questions anytime.